Test, test, test. What's going on, guys? So, as it goes, this thing will start before I do. And so I will sit here and say hello and hope it all works. Test, test, test. Yep, and hit that button and then double check it so you'll hear me hearing myself, because that's how these things always go. Figured I would do a live stream. I'm trying to do more of these. Honestly, if I could figure it out, I would do like an upload every couple of days. What's going on, Ethan Nelson? I do an upload every couple of days and then just do like, I don't know, 3 or 4 hour live streams or a day worth of live streams. I think that would be really fun. But I'm not completely sure that people would be interested in it. I don't know. It'd be really intriguing. It'd be something to go on with. Got Mark Phillip in the house, Terrence Childs. Always a pleasure to see all of you guys. Always enjoyable, as it were. Not much is going on, Mike. What's going on with you? You know, one thing I realized when it comes to like me, I am not the greatest for public consumption, or really when it comes to what's going on, Jane, or when it comes to interaction. Because usually I piss people off, and it's an annoyance to me, and sometimes I actually don't really enjoy it, and I get in like Twitter dramas, but I can't not be me. But me causes drama. And so it's like that thing. Like if I could at some point like go like have a mask and go full one way or the other, I would almost want to do that. I don't know. Yeah, I recently got into a fight which pissed off Batlith Babe, which now has my Twitter being like hit quite consistently at the moment. So that's something I'll have for a couple of days. I actually wanted to quit it and intended to, but didn't because I have contacts on there that I don't want to lose. You piss people off, Laura? I'm shocked. Shocked. I do vile Mike. In fact, the worst thing you can do, if you are left-leaning in the slightest, the worst thing you could do is actually interact and follow me on Twitter. It is literally the worst thing. Even though I am hated as much by the Phantom Menace, it is one of the most interesting places to be. Got 100% bison in here. Of course, I'm at work and you're doing a live stream. Well, this is the best time for me to do it, Donovan, but if you'll let me know what works for you, I will try. Lisa saying RL streaming is a genre. Yeah, it is. And again, it would be something interesting. I just don't know. It would be something for the mega fans, for like you guys, because you enjoy coming on and having a conversation. But most of the 90,000+ people aren't interested in that, you know? And so, I don't know. And I'd have to figure out a way to like monetize it, but it not be like a sellout and stuff. It would just be, I don't know. I don't even know. Twitter is a rolling tar pit. Of that, we agree, to Kangel. Of that, we agree. If Lore Reloaded kissed everybody's butt, he'd be a politician, and that would suck. But I would be a lot more popular and have a lot more people. Either that or I go full Phantom Menace. Hate everything that comes out. Claim it on the left who's trying to hurt your kids. And then make money. Well, good sir, I found out about and I can call in on community stream rooms. So if you are interested in a good faith debate, I can email. What would you like to email me about, Donovan? That would be my question. Talk to you later, Donovan. Oh, I mean, you can let me know what times work for you to come and hang out. Not necessarily like debate me on anything, but James@lorereloaded.com. Prime Lorca disagreements. What happens with the Prime Lorca disagreements? Are we going? I haven't ever seen Prime Lorca. I like Mirror Universe Lorca until they destroyed his character. So I'm not sure. I'm not here for conversation. Just waiting for your OnlyFans to drop. Well, that's a good way. I don't have any sexy Klingon costumes. I need to do some more OnlyFans. I actually do have an OnlyFans account, and I was gonna do it, but then I just got like super stupidly busy. is just super stupidly busy. So anyway, yeah, I was just going to I was just going to start up and complain about that for a second, and then we can watch some stuff if you guys would like to. And I don't know, maybe play some games, do some like tag or gotcha or strip poker. I mean, I don't. It's whatever you guys want to do. It's whatever you guys want to do. My next Trek video, I'm actually going to be looking at. I feel like I've done a video on this before, but Terra Prime. I really actually had a inspiration to look at what the argument from the bigot or racist dude is in Terra Prime, and then break that down. Lore, you should do a series where you do a fandom menace type review of media that they tend to approve of and still point out all the trope. I did something funny like that a while back. I was tempted to do a complete fandom menace breakdown of TNG season 1. Actually, I did a DS9 breakdown. It was a live stream, but it was a DS9 fandom menace breakdown. Talking about it was it was so over the top. Talking about how they only put Cisco in there for political correctness and everything. Put O in the chat if you're an obsessed Trek fan. Put B if you only know Spock, LeVar, Kirk, and that Klingon guy. That one Klingon guy. Terra Prime would be a good video. What's interesting? What's interesting for me is when a villain can have an understandable argument. Not one you necessarily empathize with, not one that you necessarily even sympathize with, but one that's understandable. And I haven't really, it's been a while since I've really deep dived Terra Prime, so I don't know that character does until I really look into it. But a good example of that would be like Dukat. Dukat, it's hard to empathize or sympathize with the things he's done as a villain. Like he runs concentration camps and killed people in the masses. However, when you look at him versus his race, versus Cardassians, or you take him at his word on how he reacted, you at least see what he's trying to say, even if you don't agree with it. And I think that can make a really powerful character. I think that's why Dukat has staying power. When you understand a villain, that makes them better villains. I agree. And when villains can interact in a way that humanizes them, for lack of a better word, then it becomes even better. I think I've talked about this. There are character levels. And I forget the name of the person who came up with it, but there are effectively character levels. There's 0 through 5. 0 is like an animal, like a complete animal, something you could never interact with or understand. 5 is godlike, so you can never understand what it is to be a god. To write the best characters, generally it's going to be a character that has is a level 2 or 3. So level 1 character is selfish, like unreasonably selfish. Level 2 character generally has one person they interact with, has one person that they can connect with. A level 3 person generally is like a group-like character, someone who has a certain charisma or a certain understanding, and that's generally where humanity is. It's at a level 3. Level 4 is reaching like being the Pope or a higher religious figure. It doesn't have to be religious, but that's the best example. 5 is a god, as I've stated. So when you're writing characters, usually they fall within the 0 to 5. Now that doesn't mean you can't relate with a character that is on anywhere in the spectrum. Like the reimagined or the redone Sherlock Holmes would be a solid 2 character. And that would be a really well done. But generally, 0 through 2 and 4 and 5 can be difficult to relate to. So what was the Trek Twitter drama about? So it's just frustrating. I really need to... If I didn't have contacts with that Twitter, it would be gone right now. But what happened is there was a guy, and there were two shirts. One said something about American pride, and then one said don't step on my freedom, because July 4th is coming up. For those who don't know, July 4th is a really big deal, especially in the South. We really, really love our freedom, as it were. And so that stuff sells like hotcakes, right? And so they were saying that, this person was saying that this was an attempt at being bigoted, that it was a attack on LGBT. I obviously called that out for being stupid. And this person likes Disney. This person likes the original series. And I said, tread lightly if you're going to fight me on this, because context matters. And so I am going just to eviscerate you when it comes to Disney, which is known for anti-Semitism, and the original series, which is known for misogyny. Regardless of what you see on screen, it was pretty misogynistic. And yeah, they got pretty upset. And then Batleth Babe got in on it, who just is a huge fan of me. Let me tell you, huge fan. And then when she gets in, everybody dogpiles. It just went down from there. Again, I really would love to delete that, but there are like producers and directors and stuff that's the way we talk, ironically. Shahzad Latif, or Ash Tyler, dropped hints today that the Section 31 show may not enter production until one of the current Paramount Plus shows ends. I wouldn't be surprised by that, but I bet Fandom Menace is having a field day with that one. I know there's been some delays on the Section 31 as well. So, I don't know. Is a Federation phaser more powerful than a Babylon 5 weapon? It depends on which Babylon 5 weapon and which series. In TNG, phaser rifles were like ungodly. They could take out buildings. DS9, they were scaled back a little bit. Star Trek is great and all, but what about the real UFO drama in the media? I think those are just spy satellites or something like that. I don't think they're actual alien tech or anything like that. I think it's Russia or China or even the United States doing something. Val Mike, I love my freedom. Well, my freedom, not yours. Your freedom only interferes with my freedom, and thus I cannot have full freedom if you have the same level of freedom. Oh, and the top tier part of that drama. Person I really liked. It's unfortunate that she decided to unfollow. Batleth Babe says, I can't believe anybody would follow them. She says verbatim. I even copied this and put it on my Twitter. Verbatim. I don't know what you're talking about. I haven't seen that, but I'm going to unfollow because you said so. Oh my God. It is pinnacle Twitter. Pinnacle Twitter. Joke's on you. The UFOs are Quark smuggling beetle snuff onto Earth. Doesn't that kill humans? Can't beetle snuff kill humans? I thought it did. Does beetle snuff, whoops, kill humans? Oh, let me add Star Trek to the end of that because beetles actually exist. Yeah, I don't know. Fox Tango, thanks for all your work. Would you do an opinion video on What We Left Behind and or the hopefully upcoming Voyager documentary? So I actually have done now if you want me to do an upload, I can. I'll put it towards that. But I actually have, and thanks for the support, guys. It's the only way I keep the lights on. I actually have done a discussion on that on here. I really do like What You Left Behind, and I'm looking forward to the Voyager documentary. But I think their season 6 was horrible. I would not go with what the season they wanted to do. I think it was a really bad idea. And beyond that, they rewrote history quite a bit in that. Again, really, really I really like it. But first off, they tried to retroactively make Bashir and Garrick homosexual or gay. That didn't happen. Maybe you can make a pansexual argument, but that's just rewriting it because it's popular now. They also tried to say that they created, what is it? Not cinematic writing, but They were one of the first sci-fi. No, they didn't even say one of them. They were the first sci-fi to create episodic videos. When Babylon 5 was doing it way before this. So I like it. I would suggest it for anyone, especially since it's free. But it is a rewrite of history. And if you want me to do an upload, let me know. I'll still do it. Maybe the Enterprise, Aurora uplinks, helping out the channel again. Maybe the Enterprise had a better quality of phaser rifle because they were more secure and had less security issues. So they got the powerful tech where Deep Space Nine has a lot of security leaks, potential stolen supplies. If I was... if I was going to explain it, if I had to explain it, and it not just be a retcon, I would somewhat agree with you, but I would probably say that the Enterprise D, being the flagship of the Federation, would have the best technology and the most advanced phaser rifles. And Deep Space Nine, since it's not a Starfleet installation, since it is an installation that cannot be 100% secured, that they might not have the best tech there. They would have something that would already be on the market, maybe. If I was to explain it. I don't know that holds up muster, because on some of the technology they have there, it's just like off the chain already. So, they have some stuff that could be stolen that really could be used. But if I was going to try to explain it, I would agree with you, and that's how I would explain it. WTF, bro, what are you saying about Bashir and Garrick being gay? That was the rewrite in the What We Left Behind, the documentary. And again, what frustrates me about it is not that they would make those characters gay. They should have done it and not try to rewrite it. You know what I'm saying? Just do it. Don't rewrite it. Don't like what happened with that Star Wars game, Star Wars Squadrons, where they said one of the characters is non-binary. Nothing in the story makes it non-binary. One of the writers said it or whatever. Put it in there. Just put it in there and just own it. That's all I'm saying. Every ship should have a Mako squad. The argument to that is that Starfleet security was supposed to be the Makos, the best of the best. They just never, ever, ever did that. I found the premium top quality Nerd Rage fuel. Check out a Trek.com article called "Eating on the Enterprise: The Psychology of Food in Trek." Is that going to make me mad? Oaktown Girl, I would honestly suggest watching it. It's worth watching. It's absolutely free on YouTube with some with advertisements. And that was just one of the negative things. I liked it before that. I will say this. I don't think it was the intention. I really don't think so. But I think the writing could lead towards Garrick being pansexual or bisexual. I can see that. I think that lends more towards the actor than it does the writing. But I don't see it at all with Bashir. And I tell you, if you really want a solid relationship, LGBT relationship, I don't think you can beat Hugh and Stamets. I really think that's the best. Was Q afraid of the Borg? Depends on which episode we're looking at. I do. I think he was. I think that the Borg and the Q had a somewhat... I think the Q and the Borg had a Cold War going on. I think the Q realized once Guinan's race was taken. I think that once that was realized, that they were concerned that the Q might actually be able to get the Q. I think that's why they introduced the humanity. I do. There's a YouTube clip where Bashir and Garrick read some fanfic where Bashir explains how he tried to date a male Dax, but he couldn't work it out because it was a dude. Well, that seems horrible. Andrew J. Robinson has said that he always played Garrick that way. I don't know. I could see it, as I said. I think it would be thanks to the actor. Again, did he mean for it to be that way? Maybe. Now, so Sam, I would disagree with you there. I think he was bisexual. In fact, unless he was just dating multiple women just for fun, I guess, uh, then I don't know why he would have done that. I think he was bisexual. There's no way that Garrett could be gay since the entire Cardassian culture is based on family and other morals. Okay, sir. First off, you can be homosexual and have a family and be moral. Okay? Now, if you're trying to say that they're way too conservative to the point of being bigoted, if that's what you mean, that is possible. But, the United States has always had people who are homosexual. I am, in fact, myself a bisexual, good sir. So it is, it's something that has always existed, regardless of whether whether it's been a conservative bent or not. Now, they could have been oppressive towards people who were like that, who are gay, homosexual, bisexual, LGBT, but doesn't mean people aren't like, who they are. Do I remember when Odo was Curzon Dax? I do. What's up, Elizabeth? Yeah, we were talking about whether Garrick was bisexual or not. Well, on one hand, what can you believe what comes from Garrick's mouth? On the other hand, a highly professional secret agent has to be kind of open. Yeah, see, that's the interesting thing with Garrick. You never know. You never know. He was so good at what he did that you could never really do it. It's only funny if you know I'm gay. Lamau. Gotcha. I'd actually disagree with you, Oaktown Girl. These days, everyone on TV and everyone in real life who's not 100% gender conforming has to be LGBT. I think, I've said this before, I sincerely, truly believe people think that it's just getting shoved in your face, that, this whole message is just being shoved in your face. There are instances of that, but I think more it's just normalizing, and now we're having representation. And people who aren't used to seeing others represented, possibly above what has been historically represented, can perceive that as some form of slight or attempt to destroy the family unit or whatever. So I think we're just seeing representation and we're seeing normalization. I don't think it's as over the top as people think it is. If I've only seen the series but never read any novels, can someone recommend me one? Big fan. I've only seen this. I liked. I've only read a couple of novels. I really liked the Typhoon Pact. I never say that right. I can't say any of the words right. You guys think I do it on purpose? I'm not. I'm not part of the shove in the face crowd, Oaktown. I wasn't saying you were, Oaktown Girl. I guess maybe it came off that. I didn't mean that. All I was saying is that people will say that. I just don't think it's shoved in the face. That's just something that I was saying. Sorry, I didn't mean to intimate that you had said that. Kira isn't a lesbian. I don't think she's a lesbian. Do we have any reason to believe that she was? Okay, but the actual lesbian energy from Kira is the real reason people should... I would be very interested. Please let me know. First off, dating someone the opposite sex of you doesn't make you not that way. It just means that you dated someone who was the opposite sex of you. You could still be homosexual. Or you just may not realize it. Or you could be bisexual. I'm just curious what evidence we have there. Why are there even families on Federation ships in the first... Dude, 501st Stormtrooper, you're telling me that's the dumbest thing on God's green earth. There should never, ever have been families on any of the ships. Not in the TNG era, not in the DS9 era, not in the... not ever. There should not be families on Starfleet ships. There shouldn't. That's just stupid. The thing is, to the Cardassians at least, what they show on screen, they don't even think about those bisexual gay things. They're more cracked in. I don't know what that means, Bob. I'm sorry. Mirakura went for everyone. Mirakura was very pansexual. She went after herself too. I just don't know that Prime. I'm not saying she's not homosexual or didn't have the vibes. I'm just curious, where. Like, I may have missed it. I'm going to be honest. What that person said about Lita is exactly what... Who talked about Lita? Am I going to have to start banning people? Did someone say something negative about Lita? I mean, come on, people. Come on. Was Tuvok dying ultimately Kessa's fault? No, it was Janeway's fault. Janeway chose to murder Tuvix, and she did, in fact, murder Tuvix. Tuvix begged for his life. It is an uncomfortable scene to watch. Okay, my English may not be the best, though I need to get better at interpretation. Bob, I mean, I'm not mad at you. So, guys, here's the thing. I can come off as crass, or I can come off as stern or very, very like in your face. I can be very. I can even get very passionate. I rarely get triggered. It's rarely personal. It's about the interaction and the idea, not about you guys. So I honestly don't get mad at people. So I'm sorry if it came off that way. I don't. Finally back. Question. How did the Romulans hold back to the Borg? The other side of the Star Empire is the Delta Quadrant. How did they do this? From what we see, it appears that the Borg didn't come from that way. They used their little I'm going to say warp gates, but that's wrong. And I know I'm going to get a lot of flack for this because I should instantly know everything because I'm the Trek guy. They used their gates to get through, and they seem to like to focus on the Romulan Federation border. They didn't really come from the opposite side, which kind of makes sense, I guess. Worst Star Trek movie? That'd be the original. The very first movie was pretty bad. Nemesis was pretty bad. Transwarp Conduits. Yeah, that was it. By the way, thanks for supporting the channel, guys. Only way I can keep the lights on. Thank you guys so much. Hey, let me ask you this. I want you guys to be honest. So I like doing videos every couple of days. I'm really digging the fact that I'm not doing Always Trek. That is so helping out from me getting burnt. I was thinking about like doing live streams. I would love to do like 3 to 4 hour live streams, or not daily live streams. I'd still do uploads. But I couldn't talk about Trek that entire time. So it'd be like playing games or real life and stuff like that. I don't know that you guys would be that interested in it. But it would be something enjoyable. There's a theory that I believe that the El-Orient is an offshoot of the Q before they evolved to the Q continuum. That's not crazy, Jane Hyde. I honestly always looked at the El-Orients and the Q as like nemesis or begrudging friends. And that actually what spurred Q to show humanity the Borg. Because once the Borg took over the El-Orients, they knew that they could possibly get to the Q. And so the Q did this quasi-Cold War, where they used the humans to fight the Borg. I would love to see some non-Trek stuff, but please don't leave it out complete. If I want to feed my kids, I have to do Trek stuff. Everything else is personal passion project. That is just the way it is. So I'm doing Star Wars. I'm doing BattleTech. I'm doing Warhammer 40K. I'm doing Expanse. Only way I make money is Trek. Speaking of Tuvix, I rewatched Endgame recently, and isn't it even worse since Tuvok only has like a decade of life, has quality of life for like a decade? Yeah, I think Tuvok is an easy yes. That Tuvok would give his life. That Tuvok would give his life for Tuvix. Would the other guy do it? Would Neelix do it? I don't know. That's the what if. If it was 2 Starfleet officers, then I think that both of them would have given them their life. I'd like some non-Trek, unless you want to set up a second channel. I have a second animated channel. I haven't given it out yet. I'm not going to. I'm not going to yet. But I am doing a secondary channel. I've been thinking of doing it on Twitch, but nobody's on Twitch. It's like nobody who would watch me is on Twitch. If I wanted to do it and I wanted to at least get some viewership, it would need to be here. Hiroshi loves me, or loves you. Thanks for helping out the channel. Got a cool little dancing figure there. Thank you so much. Tuvok will survive till the start of the 25th century. Tuvok had that disease, though. So in the original timeline, he wouldn't. Oh, you do animation? Oh, that's cool. Send me Animated Creeper. Send me your channel to james@lorereloaded.com. We'll take a look at it. That's right. Now we got a flying pear-like thing. Who doesn't love flying pear-like things? In the Tuvok's case, what about the other two men? What about their families and their dream, their individual lives? The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the... All right. So Destiny. Destiny B. This isn't personal. This is to your idea. Okay? Because this comes up a lot, and every time I address it. And we're just gonna get right to it, okay? So first, let's address the second part. The needs of the many outweigh the needs of the few. Let's take that down, okay? Hold on. Wait for it. Intrepid class vessel has how many crew? Now, Intrepid class, the crew complement, about 150. Now, depending on the Maquis, that goes anywhere down to 130 to 160 towards the end of the show, about how many people they have. So they never give a definitive how many crew are actually on it. Now, first off, you take two people and you're turning them into one. So that is less power that needs to be because you're only worried about one person. More space is opened up because they only need one quarters. They only need one pair of quarters. They eat less food. And I've already brought up that they take less energy and they have less waste. So we're already helping people out because there's one less person doing resources. But wait, there's more. Janeway herself says Tuvix is a better security officer and a better cook than the other two was. Tuvix gets things done way faster than Tuvok is, which makes the ship a lot more safer. Tuvix actually makes good food and doesn't poison people. Now, some have tried to come up and say, well, what if you need your cook and your security officer at the same time? When the hell is that going to happen? Like the Borg are attacking and we need to make spaghetti and meatballs? Don't think so. So if we're worried about the needs of the many versus the needs of the few, the needs of the 150 to 160 people outweigh the needs of two people. So we can go ahead and just wipe that one away because the needs of the many outweighing the needs of the few has always been one of the most idiotic idioms. Again, Destiny B, not personal. I'm just talking about, I'm passionate about that topic. I hate that idiom. Now, the next question you say, those are two people with two different families. Tuvok is the one we're going to talk about first. First off, Tuvok has a mental disease, and he'll only have about 10 years of quality of life, like had been spoken. So that's something to take into account. But more importantly, Tuvok is a Starfleet officer. If Tuvix existed along with Tuvok, and someone took a sniper rifle and they went to shoot Tuvix, Tuvok would most likely jump in the way to save Tuvix. Tuvok, as a Starfleet officer, would give his life to save a civilian. It comes with the job. I'll be happy to quote Cisco if you need me to. In fact, let's do that. Let's do that. Let's see. Cisco, DS9 episode... Court, Worf on trial, rules of engagement, script, DS9, there we go, make that, here we go. Cisco talking to Worf. Worf says, when the ship decloaked, I should have checked the target before I fired. Cisco responds, you're damned right you should have checked. You knew there were civilian ships in the area. You fired on something you hadn't identified. You made a military decision to protect your ship and crew, but you are a Starfleet officer, Worf. We don't put civilians at risk or even potentially at risk to save ourselves. Sometimes that means we lose the battle, sometimes our lives. But if you can't make that choice, then you can't wear that uniform. Tuvok would have gladly given his life to save Tuvix. Because Tuvix is a civilian, Tuvok is a Starfleet officer, comes with the territory. So now all we have to worry about is Neelix. Nobody likes Neelix, and he deserved death the moment we found him. Thereby, I believe, in my heart of hearts, Tuvix should have survived. Yes, acting on morals, not orders, but I don't think I'm going to actually answer that. And Maisie made the right choice. I won't say your name, real name, Anime Creeper. I'll take a look at it. I have to agree with Lore Reloaded when it comes to the needs of the mini, and I can think of many episodes of Star Trek episode. This includes the original. I liked Neelix. No one likes Neelix. Don't lie. Then Cisco nuked a planet until no one could live there. Yeah, and he put everyone's life at risk. I'm not saying Cisco was actually kept to what he was saying. I'm just saying that's what you're supposed to be. Cisco probably committed some kind of, I don't know of a war crime, but a crime against humanity. I'm hearing that Tuvok was a necessary sacrifice to get rid of Neelix, I guess. Yes, Aurora Plinks. He took one for the team. Killing Neelix may have caused Kess meltdown instantly and not when the plot demanded in Borg space. You know, that could have been a problem. I agree. Well, good. I'm glad. I'm just giving you a hard time, Flame. I'm glad you liked him. You know, Neelix... I don't like Neelix as a character. I just don't think he was written all that well. But I like the way Lore Runner has portrayed him. He was supposed to be like a Han Solo type. And you can see that a little bit, you know? And I think he would have been a good Han Solo type if he's done right. Who's my pick for the Jar Jar Binks of Star Trek? Wesley, Neelix, or Jake Sisko? You know, Jake Sisko, the only thing I don't like about Jake Sisko is he was written as a prop for Sisko himself, for Ben. They did try to characterize him towards the end, but for the most part, he was just something for Benjamin Sisko. So I don't think he was horrible. That's the hate I don't get. I don't get the Jake hate. But I really don't like Wesley. I don't think he's Jar Jar, but I don't like Wesley. I don't like him on an actor level. I don't like him on a character level. Can we have a moment of silence for Tuvok's eyes when Kess discovered her powers? Kill it with fire. Did he take out her eyes? By the way, let me check the email. I won't give away your name. Thank you for telling me, though, because I could be stupid enough that I might say the name without, like, thinking it. All right, subscribe. Oh, is that actual music? Why you gotta be using the real music, yo? You know, someone you should actually watch animated is someone you should actually watch is German Trekkie. He does a lot of animations too. He's really good at it, I think. Oh, did he? I guess roasted his face and burned out. I honestly don't remember that. What are my thoughts on the Q comic that got all the crews together to get a Q and a Borg Queen as a prize? That sounds utterly ridiculous. I'd need to read it to appreciate it. I know that I'm broken record, but I really want your opinion on doing something like Fallout or Elder Scrolls. If I was to do that, I would be doing it on my animated channel. And I'll give it to you right now, but I haven't uploaded anything yet. And I'm not going to for a while. I'm actually going to get a backlog so I don't just start something and not finish it. But if I was to do it, I'd do it there. And it would more be like a breakdown of what I do now. And so it would be like getting into the lore and stuff like that. If that makes any kind of sense. Give me a second. I'll have to do it this way. She's a maniac, that's for sure. She's dancing like she never danced before. There it is. Lieutenant Yar, Jean-Luc, this is my son, Wes. Lieutenant Yar, fire. Maisie, I miss you. I thought I pissed you off on Twitter at one point. Like, I said this before. Like, it was the other person. It was the other person that, like the other person who unfollowed me, which sucked. I thought I pissed you off before, and if I ever like made you mad or we stopped talking, I would really hate that. You know, I would feel bad about that. You're someone I actually really respect. Do I think the Dominion should have won the war? I think that the only reason Starfleet won is because the Dominion was either stupid or MacGuffins. I think they could still win the war. Let's watch. Let's watch this one real quick. Hold on. Okay. This is from Animated Creeper. Let's see. See what you guys think. Can't listen to that music, though. Can't listen to that audio. So it's a little stunted, but that's okay. I mean, I could not do better at all. Okay. I'm digging it. Ooh, you get to see the inside. I like that. We got depth of field. This could honestly be an early Star Trek Online, like alpha build. I could see that. I like that you can see inside too, and that if you notice, the rooms actually move as you move. Ooh, we got lights, fancy lights. Look at that. You got the little red thing showing. All right, we're gonna go a little bit ahead. Yeah, we're not watching 3 minutes of this. Then it goes to warp. Don't hate it. Don't hate it. Keep it up. Looks good. Could not use the scenes from the actual film, so I had to film the shuttle bay. Gotcha. Plot armor for the Feds, orbital bombardment of Earth would have been a hardcore way to DS9. Yeah, I mean, it has promise. I think it looks pretty decent. Oh, I gotta. Whoops. Sorry. Whoa, what the heck? And now I'm not going to be able to find my live stream. There it is. Also had someone support the channel. Destiny B says you win. Shouldn't have never doubted you. Don't bring Cisco into this. Cisco, I think, gives... So when it comes to this conversation, Cisco is the epitome... I'm sorry. Jean-Luc Picard is the epitome. He's the proto-Federation officer. He's what every Starfleet officer should be. But Cisco is the gives the best speech. The speech on what an officer should be. What's going on, English gent? Just saw you join. Does that include me, or am I just fandom menace? I think I deserve an honest answer. I don't know what you're talking about. Fandom English gent. I think you're actually mad at me. I've already told you how I feel about you, that English gent. I told you that on Twitter as well, a good sir. I wouldn't say that you're a fandom menace, but I do think that you are... how would I put this? I don't think you're actually like fandom menace channels, and I don't think that you are dishonest in the way that a lot of them are. I do think that you're a part of, support, and push that crowd, though. And I don't necessarily know that that's a bad thing. I think that you're sincere in your beliefs, and that's about all I'd really ever ask of you. Now, I think some of your beliefs are insane and crazy, which is why I go hard on you. But that would be my honest opinion. I've told you that before. I've never hid behind that. I'm surprised you didn't jump in on the drama that happened in Twitter today. Did the final 3 Captain episodes get hit in the CBS takedown? Did the final 3 Captain episodes? I don't think any of my Captain episodes have gotten hit yet. They are coming out, but I'm spacing everything apart. So it's going to take a little bit longer. I think there's more than 3, too, though, I think. And I mean, if you're mad at me or whatever, English Gen, that would suck. I'd hate that, but, you know, it is what it is, just like that. Just send a sub your way, animated. What happened on Twitter? I do not have it, so I don't know. Don't ever get Twitter. It's a waste of everybody's time. If I didn't have connections with producers and directors via Twitter, I wouldn't have Twitter. In fact, I'm thinking about moving over and being like, and just being like, yeah, sorry guys. You know. No one knows drama like Avery Brooks. He will crush you with his superior acting technique. He will. CBS is really petty. Here's the thing. I absolutely love, I love Disney. For as much, as much as they're known for hating or being bad with copyright, I never have an issue with that. If I upload something that is a review, like what I do with Star Trek, and it gets hit and knocked down, within the day Disney releases it. CBS lets it run out. CBS never releases anything. They let it go 30 days. If I upload something and CBS tries to take the money from it, I will contest it, and then I won't see that money for 30 days. Even though it's my hard work. So, English Gent, I'm not going to argue with you on this. However, I will read and respond to what you said, but I'm not going to get into an argument on right now. Even though I've specified numerous times I'm not Phantom Menace, I do openly accept I agree to the point of how I feel about New Trek, but you should know how I feel about being associated with groups. Okay, so I will... if it makes you feel better, I will say your actions, the way in which you act, and what you decide to support has parity with Phantom Menace, which is why I would say that. So if you don't want me to associate you with Phantom Menace, that's fine. I just think that you're in parity with how a lot of the elements of Phantom Menace works. That's my personal opinion. If you don't think you are, that's fine. We'll just disagree on that. But that's how I feel based on our interactions. And I don't mean it as a slight. If I thought that you were... I think sometimes you do go too far. I mean, I go too far myself. And I don't agree with some of your interactions. But if I thought that you were on par to the point that is unreasonable, I just wouldn't interact with you. I just wouldn't. So, I mean, for all that's worth. Dang, the battery's about to die. Great chat. I'll check rest out later. Talk to you later, Vincent. Thanks for coming by. I agree. Not having a Twitter really does help not see drama. I agree. Is Disney still so much it would embarrass themselves to tell us? Maybe. How about I check out the channel and I'll decide for myself, says Sam. Okay. I'm confused. Can the Federation develop a new particle beam weapon systems that's more powerful than phasers? So, yeah, I would say that some forms of blasters and disruptors are more powerful than phasers. But the Federation, they can, but they never will. And the reason why is Federation, their whole dogma... Jace, okay, Jace, we're going to have a conversation in a second. The whole dogma of the Federation is to... they don't attack first. They just defend themselves. So phasers actually started out as a tool because they can use it to dig, they can use it to heat things, they can use it for all kinds of things. But it also can be used as a weapon. And so that's why they use phasers. They could make disruptors or blasters, which are specific to attacking and killing people, but that's just not in their thing. Let's see. Reading your unhinged political rants on your second Twitter is awesome, though. What specific unhinged political rants? All right, Lovitch. Let's have... See, that's the thing. I don't mind so much if you feel I side with the Alliance's FM, and I agree with how you see New Trek. Fair enough. I just appreciate not being labeled. Okay. In going forward, English Gent, I will try to remember to say that I feel like you are in parity with them. or that you have the same ideals they do. So Lovitch, there's no real good way to do this. Let me say this. I'm going to give you some examples of things that were very popular, but I'm not saying that they are the thing. So it's an analogy. So let me define an analogy before we get too far into this. A comparison between two things, typically for the purpose of explanation or clarification. A correspondence or partial similarity. So, let's see. Does he still have a YouTube channel? Let's check first, shall we? Maybe his YouTube channel was shut off. Yeah, let's see. Does he still have a Twitter account? Oh, he does. Of all the people that have Twitter accounts. Nick Fuentes, known white nationalist and denier of Holocaust, has 136,000 followers. How many people voted for, let's see. In the 1933 German federal elections, 17,277,180, or 43% of voting people voted for the Nazi Party. Just because channels have high subscriber counts doesn't mean they're doing something right. Hate, especially when you think your culture is being taken, sells really, really well. And so that is what I, honest to God, think Fandom Menace channels peddle. They know they're lying. They've been proved multiple times. They're just selling a product. They're selling a product of hating Kurtzman. They just are. And I tell you what, any Fandom Menace channel, the actual channel, is welcome on to talk anytime. No, Nick Fuentes is a white nationalist, and he is very he's anti-Holocaust and very pro the white race against degeneracy. I'm not backing down on that one. And I don't want to get into a huge conversation about it. He just is. Look it up. You guys, everyone is welcome to look it up and make their own decisions, but I'm right when it comes to that. Can we all call a horse already? A horse already? The Federation has battleships. Yeah, the Federation likes to hide behind stuff. They really do. When Cisco calls the Defiant like the first ship made for war, it's not. That's a rewrite. When the needs of the many is a bad idea, and such people like StarTrek, the conscience of the king, when Kodos ordered that half the population be put to death during a food crisis. True. I've never liked that. My opinion, if you disagree, then just disagree. Don't freak out at people and attack or lash out. I don't know if you're... I've discussed this a couple of times, so I'm not sure if you're talking to me, Animated. I am very passionate about ideas. If you guys... So, like English Gent, when he comes up, if you guys are going to come at me... Or not if you guys are going to come at me, but if you're going to say something and I disagree with it, it's the idea I'm going to go hard on. It's not the person. It's not personal, ever. Is the Acura post-Defiant? I think the Acura is... Yes, the Acura would be post-Defiant. The Acura is the best. So what is the mass that replicated stuff that replicated from, or is it just taken from your transported dead clone mass? You know, a lot of people like to take, first off, who isn't into femboys and catboys? Okay, that's just any white male, cis or otherwise, is going to be into catboys and femboys, okay? What the hell was I just talking about? Oh, so when it comes to the replicator things, I don't think replicators is wholly made or fully made from like feces or anything like that. I think it's just. I think he was messing with her to try. I think it was a debating tactic. I honestly do. I think he was trying to keep her off balance. I honest to God do. Akira and Defiant are part of the anti-Borg fleet. You know, for the longest time, I didn't think that that there was an anti-Borg fleet. I've come around on that. I really have. When people talk about the best captains, they always talk about Kirk, Picard, Janeway, and Sisko. Why does no one talk about Pike or Archer? Why? Archer's not all that liked. He's not felt like the best captain. And for a lot of his run, he wasn't written as the best captain. I'll tell you who was. He was during the Xindi War arc. I honest to God don't understand why some people don't like him during the Xindi War arc. And probably season 4. I think he was written really well. Pike has been in all of 2 shows. That's why no one knows him. Thanks for the support, Flame. I am getting out the top 10 captains, too, so don't worry about that. Aeroplane helping out the channel. Thank you so much. I think they'd have stores of organic and inorganic matter for the... Replicators make things out of pure energy or remake, resequence stuff. So Pike doesn't get talked about because until recently there wasn't a lot brought up with him. I mean, what's your take on what replicators draw from? That's what I was... Yeah, Hella, I was talking about that. I'm sorry if I wasn't being clear, but to clarify, I think that it is made from pure energy. It might be resequenced from other things. I just don't think that it comes from the bowels or anything like that. I don't know, maybe, but I don't think so. I think it was a debating tactic done by the Admiral. That's why people say that now, because of what the Admiral said. Yeah, Hontus, he said that quite clearly, but it was during debates, and it was to mess with her. It was to get her off her game. But then all food was cowboy soil and carbon in the air before we grew it. That's true. Yeah, I wouldn't search for Catboy for the most part. I don't know. You know, it's the weirdest thing. People, I get that I am like a larger white guy on the internet, so it surprises the hell out of people. You guys know that I really actually, my sexual preferences isn't like what, like Christian, Judeo-Christian or whatever. Like, I do think that Jessie Gender is pretty hot, by the way. Just saying. She can get me a Philly cheesesteak anytime. It surprises the hell out of people. And it's like, yeah, I don't only date like women, or I'm not only. Not that I don't even see why it matters, but apparently it is a thing. The internet's weird. It just is really, really weird. See you later, Donovan. Good talking to you. I am in fact bisexual. Yes, that is correct. Isn't the matter the breakdown of everything waste and made into useful stuff? I'm sure she'd like to. I flirt with her all the time. I don't think I'm her type, which is fine. It wouldn't. First off, I'm joking more than anything else. We don't even live in the same state, so. But man, that is gonna get clipped and shown to her now. Guaranteed dollars to fucking donuts. I always looked at the replicators as making things out of pure energy. But, you know, I don't know. Is it resequencing stuff? We see in Enterprise they resequence stuff. I don't know. Replicators make matter out of energy and vice versa and create stuff via the same phase tech as the transfer. That's what I always thought. Do you think the twins lens flare versus Kirk was sleeping with Citations? He wouldn't be against it, I'd imagine. You know who I really liked in the Kelvin universe was the Orion girl. I thought she was hot as hell. I mean, I'd agree that Nick Fuentes is a hypocrite and probably a disgusting person, but that's. I don't know if we come to the same reasons why we feel they're that way, but we agree with that. Is it cool if I start using dollars to donut? Well, yeah, I mean, that's an idiom that's been used forever. I don't know if maybe it's a Southern thing, but dollars to donuts has been used like forever. So, I don't know. Dun 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 dun. Generic Trek music plays indeed, good sirs. Generic Trek plays indeed. If you transport a handmade cake, is it now ruined? Do you need to shuttle pod the cake? I think that if you transported a cake, it is no longer handmade. If you want it to be the original cake, you would have to use a shuttle. Also, why am I mod? When did I get that? I like the idea, just not sure. People who come by and stay often and are pretty chill generally get the mod status. There's no real rhyme or reason to it. Honestly, being a mod just means that I've seen your name quite a few times. And usually I remember. So if you come quite a few times and you haven't been modded yet, it's not anything personal. It's just because I have a horrible memory. I prefer donuts to dollars. That's probably the real way it's said. My question is, why does anyone's sexual orientation ever an issue unless people are using YT as a means to hook up? Which sounds odd to me. I mean, people meeting on YouTube, I don't think there's anything wrong with that. Unfortunately, sexual orientation plays... nah, Jay Swin. We're not gonna do that one. It's funny, but we're not gonna do that one. Unfortunately, your sexuality and what you believe plays a part. Like, for instance, again, people think that I'm conservative. I don't completely understand why. And because of that, they expect me to have certain opinions. They expect me to have certain proclivities. And it goes both ways. Like someone like Ketwalski, because he's generally more like left-leaning, or he comes off with more like the We Are Starfleet, there are certain expectations. It's the way it goes. An idiom is that'll shift the fruits in your basket in reference to an episode of TNG. Okay. I can't stand people who think their sexuality is their most interesting person. I think it's okay to be defined and have it as a defining trait. If it's all you are, I think you're a boring person. But if it's defining trait of you, I don't think that's bad. It's just there's multiple defining traits, you know? Like if my defining trait was being a jerk or going and saying what I felt without concern for political or career impact. If that's all I am, that's a defining trait of me, but it's pretty boring, right? There's got to be more to it. We need more femboys in Star Trek. I can get behind that. Do you feel that Kirk is actually much older in The Wrath of Khan than Shatner's actual age, like more into the 60s, 70s? I don't know. I've never thought of it. I always thought he was pretty old in that one, though. I mean, I don't know. Why do you think so? And I'm not asking this in a negative thing, but why does that have any impact? Why would you want him to be older? I think you're a sexy beast. No one would ever guess you were bi. Well, I'm glad you think I'm a sexy beast. You know, Hannes, I want to look good for you. And so I'm glad that I can look good for you. I see the Enterprise replicators work different from later season replicators. Later century replicators don't need materials. Yeah, they weren't replicators in the original series. They were... What were they called? It wasn't replimats. They were called something else, but they weren't replicators. They actually required material, whereas replicators just require energy. I find I sometimes have an unpopular opinion when it comes to sexuality and how to express it, so I plead the fifth. Well, okay. You're welcome to plead whatever you want. I have a lot of people who are very... interestingly enough, a lot of people who, again, going back to what we were saying, follows me on Twitter, follows me on food synthesizers, yeah. Follows me on Twitter, follows me here... would call my way of life or what I enjoy like degenerate. Like, it's not personal. They just don't think that it's the best moral outcome. And so, you never made that video on Discovery Hate? Discovery... What are you talking about, just a sec? The Discovery Hate. Oh, you're talking about... It's Disco Era Hate, not just Discovery. That one's coming out. I just incriminated myself. How did I incriminate myself, Lovitch? I'd be interested. By the way, Justice, why haven't we gotten... I mean, I always incriminate myself. When you're talking online, you're going to say stupid stuff. When you're an entertainer, you're going to say stuff. So, can you explain why people in Star Trek who die can't just be transported to live again? What's going on, Jesse? By the way, Jesse, they're going to say some stuff here. Jesse, they're going to say some stuff here. They're going to say some crazy things that I might have said about you. Don't believe them. They're all going to be liars, okay? They may have even clipped it. Don't listen to them, Jesse. They're already starting it. Don't listen to them. They're all dumb, okay? They don't know what they're saying. They're just trying to start it. But to your question, what drama did you start? I always start drama on Twitter. I want to delete Twitter. I'm going to try to, because I have contacts with producers and stuff. I'm going to send them information, and then I am going to probably get off Twitter. I'm not good for Twitter, honestly, because you can't have nuance and whatever, and so I just get in fights, and I make a lot of people mad. It's just not worth it. I mean, who doesn't like Jessie Gender? She's awesome. Hey, Laura, hope I'm doing well. Hope you're doing well, Red Letter. A lot of people are going to say things like I admitted the fact that I find you attractive and would date you. Don't listen to them. They're all lies. Nope, see? Jaswin, liar. Straight up liar. Yeah, but the difference, so I know you get into Twitter drama all the time, Jesse. The difference between you and me is that my opinions aren't popular and they require nuance, and I can't do nuance on Twitter, so it just makes like you do really well on Twitter, and I wish I could be you. See, Jesse finds her attractive too. Everybody wins. Do you think Star Trek hates LGBT? No, I don't at all. You really don't see much of it in Trek. Wrecker had a love interest in TNG, and Disco's. So I've talked about this before, Flames. And a lot of people like scoff or laugh at this. Interestingly, when you look at like TOS was a little bit different, but not too much. When you look at TNG and DS9, they had a really large conservative following. And a lot of people scoff at that, but it's true. They did, if you look at the numbers. And so when they tried to do stuff, they could only go so far without alienating the audience that was keeping the show alive, right? And so they never went full mask off with it. I do think that they tried to rewrite it and say they were more progressive than they actually were. But they do have progressive pieces in it. And they did push the envelope. They did make people question. I fully believe that. But now that we're kind of in an era that is accepting of that is okay with that. Not just okay with that, again, accepting, now that it's normalizing, they're really showcasing what I think they probably would have done, you know? So, you know, well, first off, I don't know that Roddenberry was LGBTQ positive. I really don't. I personally would have a problem believing that. That might be worth a discussion that we can have sometime, Jesse. I think a lot of people were very pro that, but I don't know that Roddenberry was ever that way. But I think Trek overall was definitely progressive and tried to push it. I really do. If you guys haven't, you guys should go subscribe to Jessie Gender. She is horrifically undersubscribed. And like me, she does this for a living. So she needs people watching her, people supporting her. I mean, there's no reason that this chick shouldn't be like 200K. Really, really awesome person. Gene... I'll say this. Maybe we'll get you on sometime, Jesse, and we can have a conversation. When you look at the people who worked with Roddenberry, the one superpower they all say he had was taking credit for other people's works. If you look at his life, I really don't think he was as progressive. I think the one thing I think he was progressive on, the one solid thing, was equality for the races, bringing people in of different races and having them interact and things. I think he did have a passion for that. But when it comes to being pro-female, being a feminist, and being LGBT, I don't think so. And I don't know a lot about Berman. I don't think Berman was the best, though, based on what I say, because he seemed to be horrible. That said, I think that they are outliers, ironically. I do think that Trek was very progressive and something they pushed. They had to work with it, though. It has been too long, Jesse. By the way, if anyone sends you any kind of clips or anything from this specific thing, don't listen to it. It's all a lie, okay? Just don't. It's all a lie. It's all photoshopped. I didn't say anything incriminating. What's up with people liking the couple in Star Trek Discovery, but not the lesbian one on Picard? So here's my I actually have a problem with that, and I'll tell you why. Here's why, I did a video on it, in fact. And one of the talk about Twitter dramas, I got in trouble for that on Twitter. God, I hate Twitter. In Discovery, Stamets and Hugh are one of the best couples, one of the best relationships. Not just homosexual relationships, not just relationships in Discovery, but in all of Trek. It is really well fleshed out. The two characters interact off each other. They both have flaws and they both have positives, and they don't always get along, and they gel because they really do. It really does feel like they love each other, and it really does feel like they come together. First, when it comes to Picard, they were building up Raffi and Picard. There are hints on it throughout the series. But secondly, the two holding hands and whatever, they were told just to do something random, and it was done at the very end. It wasn't brought together. It wasn't put together well. It comes out of left field. There's no building on it. It's just there. It's bad writing. The one thing I will say is that it's better writing than Keiko and O'Brien, but that's not a very high bar. I gotta head out, but I second your thoughts on this more Reloaded. I'll talk to you later, Jesse. Don't listen to any clips. People are gonna try to send you clips. Don't listen. Don't watch them. Don't watch them at all. Did you know Stamets was named after... Did you know Stamets was named after Paul Stamets, a crazy mushroom biologist? Yeah, I did actually know that. Keiko and O'Brien was not... No, Keiko was written as an abusive spouse. Keiko is a good actress. Her actress is fine. I didn't really have any problems, but it was always... So here's the thing. DS9, when it comes to O'Brien must suffer. They literally... Talk to you later, J1. Thanks for coming by. Talk to you later, Jesse. By the way, guys, go check her out. She's an awesome channel. Literally, everything was written to make him suffer, and so they wrote her as abusive. She just was. She just was. I will cite Chaos on the Bridge here and say they did a repeat story. I've heard elsewhere that Roddenberry wanted to have gay characters in TNG in the 80s. I'm telling you, I could be wrong, but I'm telling you guys, I don't think I am. Maybe I'm wrong, though. Maybe. Keiko was just jealous of Bashir. Yeah, it's true. It's true. She was jelly. You know, one of the things, animated, anyone who's here, I would challenge you guys to go back and watch DS9 and focus on how Keiko treats O'Brien in DS9. She treats him very poorly. Because of the writing, not because of the actress. Did you know on O'Brien, they actually wanted to make him a spy, like he had always been a spy for another nation, and he was finally found out. But they decided not to because people would get so angry about it. That is actually a true story. They wanted to. Originally they wanted to make him a spy. What one was it? Was it Whispers? It was Whispers. Originally, they were going to make him a spy, like, against the Federation. No, it was Whispers. It would have been horrible, I agree. Well, and the thing about it is when it came to Keiko, like, they gave her all the common housewife tropes. She's mad because he didn't take care of the flowers. When she was away, he put a work desk in their room. She's not there. The work desk would leave when she came home. She didn't like the work desk being there, even though she's not there. She got jealous and she thought that he was with another. She was messing around with another Bajoran. She was written very poorly to make him look bad. I named you in a video I published today. Watch it after you are done here. Oh, was it good? Was it a good thing? A lot of people name me, and it's not a positive. It's not a positive thing. A challenge to the sci-fi theory and lore community. Ooh, I'll have to take a look at that later. Think that's bad? Heard about the future DS9 comes back show that started with basically Nog's death. Yeah, I was talking about that, and someone wants me to do a video on it, which I will. I'm not a fan of the next season they wanted to do. No, he was a spy for the Federation. He was going to be a spy for another company, for another organization, another government against the Federation. Usually when I get name drop, it's on Reddit, and it's an attack because I'm a horrible person that hates, like, everybody, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird. Thoughts on a rumor that Empress Georgiou and Bashir will be in the Section 31 show together? I haven't heard anything about that. That would be really weird. Do you think PTSD should be explored more in Star Trek? We are falling soldiers after all. You know, someone asked about O'Brien with PTSD. I'm of two minds on that. I really like DS9's realism. That said, this is supposed to be superior humans that don't necessarily experience what we do. Captain Moroni, I'm always going through Twitter drama. So, I'm not convinced that it would be... I don't know, because it would take away... It'd make them more relatable, but then it wouldn't be the, like, utopia. I don't know. I'm going back and forth on that. I mean, there was an episode where... he tried to kill himself, so it's not like PTSD. They actually already had a PTSD with O'Brien, actually, now that I think about it, because he tried to kill himself, because he thought he killed somebody for food. PTSD was addressed in It's Only a Paper... I don't think... Was it? No, it's not only It's a Paper Moon. Which one was it? O'Brien tries to commit suicide. DS9. Hard Time. He almost commits suicide in Hard Time. He actually has to be talked down. DS9 had some very realistic episodes, I think. Hollywood Order? What is this? I'll have to take a look at that. By the way, if you guys haven't seen the Mitchells versus Machines, oh, it's so good. Go watch it. It's on Netflix. Go watch it. It's so good. There's another rumor I've heard that Picard Season 2 will be all about time travel. I'm not a huge fan of that. I don't think they'll do that. Maybe, but I don't think so. I'm going to be ending this fairly shortly too. So let's look at this, guys. Let's look at this challenge. Is it this one? No. It's this one.
So, I'm kind of fed up. I'm a big fan of Star Trek.
When did Tex Talks start doing sci-fi?
Made my third crew video, but then it got blocked worldwide. These kind of things is why I founded Quasar Productions on a respect for fair use. I accept that people will use clips to make commentary or jokes from my media. The line is drawn at clips and publishing the whole story. Also, clips used that have
fair use doesn't necessarily work like that. You can't just do clips. You have to make it substantially different.
No relation to the points that you're making don't have fair use protection. Saying that, where disagreement may occur, I would take a civil approach. I would try to resolve it one-on-one first. With clips, I would likely just claim ad revenue. Although, if I felt that someone was abusing my fair treatment, I might forego the civil approach.
Okay, I'm not sure what this is about, but okay.
Galactic Police series was written for the YouTube theory and lore community. So, I was thinking about throwing down a challenge to the sci-fi loving corner of YouTube. To channels like Film Theory, Lore Reloaded, Eckhart's Ladder, Certifiably in Game, E.C. Henry, Space Doc, and any other sci-fi loving channel. In writing my Galactic Police pilot episode, I came up with a galactic backstory that I wanted to have read at the beginning of part 1, but I couldn't find anyone to read it. It explains how the galaxy got to where it is in the story. It is.
So you're wanting us to read and do breakdowns.
There's only a recent history. Doesn't
That's
cover
the
ancient
challenge.
Or Earth or anything like that. Of September 10th, 2021. Do not publish your video before or after that. That way, you cannot give or publish date of September 10th.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I hate your stuff. I've actually taken a look, as you said.
2020.
The problem is that I don't mean this in a negative way. You're obviously creating a new work. It's something that could be interesting, something that people would want to watch. But it comes down to having time and doing stuff that will get my kids fed, right? I'm an entertainer by trade. I have to create conversations. And even when I do like well-known stuff like Star Wars, Battletech, Warhammer, 40K, that stuff doesn't even make me any money. I have to do Trek to make money to feed my kids. I'll take a look at it. But it comes down to if I have the availability and if I can get it uploaded. I'm not sure, but I will, again, take a look at it. That's my promise. Just had a thought. Feel free to answer as honestly as you wish. If Star Trek content wasn't your primary income and you were to focus on other things, would you step away from Star Trek? Probably. I do love and enjoy Star Trek. I like doing it. I'm glad. And it's a lot of fun. It honestly, Star Trek has impacted my life and who I am as a person in a really deep way. Because I've studied it. I know Star Trek as well as some people know World War II history. And I take a lot of the lessons from it. And so it's impacted my life a lot. But if I could do something else, would I walk away from Star Trek? for a little while at least. For a little while. And I don't think that's a negative thing. Star Wars is pretty oversaturated. It's all oversaturated. When I started, here's the interesting thing. Everyone, like someone who's wanting to start a YouTube channel, or someone who's like, well, you shouldn't do this because it's oversaturated. All of it was oversaturated when I started doing Star Trek, when I started doing Star Wars. It's always going to be oversaturated. It's not as much the content as it is you. People can go to a wiki and read about Star Wars. They can go to a wiki and read about Star Trek. What you bring to it is what it is. It's still developing. What happened to the fan film? It's still developing. As I said, I even got actors and stuff now, and I have animations. I've done some updates on Patreon and some updates here. I'm hoping to get it done by the end of the year at the latest, but it's actually still going through. Still going really well, actually. I can name at least 8 Star Wars. There are at least 8 Star Trek channels. Have you lost viewers with Trek culture? They seem to have all the viewers. Have I lost viewers with Trek culture? No. We interact quite a bit. I would agree. Venom Geek Media is underrated. Follow-up question. Do you sometimes feel your in-depth analysis of Star Trek has ruined or diminished some of the magic in Star Trek? No. So here's the thing. I like Venom Geek Media a lot, by the way. And I haven't lost viewers with Trek culture. I think all the channels should interact, first off. See, people think Trek culture is really good. You should check it out. People think that there's like this finite amount of views. So if people are going to watch me, they're not watching Trek culture. If they're watching Trek culture, they're not going to watch Trek Yard. All of these people come together. All of these channels actually interact, and we have a good synergy. And even channels that don't get along. Like, if you look at, let's take Nerdrotic. His channel and my channel are obviously quite different. And we have drastically different views. But we still have interactions between our channels. There's still going to be synergy going back and forth between them because we're talking about things that you guys are interested in. Now, it is possible that some people will be just only Nerdrotic because I'm anti-Fandom Menace. But I think that there's actually a lot of synergy, even among channels that don't get along. No, and the English gent, you asked, do you sometimes feel an in-depth analysis Star Trek has ruined or diminished it? No. The more I know about something, generally, the more I actually enjoy it. The more I do, the more I am inspired by it. Starfleet is very flawed. Most normies will tell you that Starfleet is like the best of the best, utopia. I know that Starfleet is very, it's almost gilded to a degree. It's gold on the outside, but has rust on the inside. But honestly, that's something that I can relate to. It's something that shows me that we shoot for the best that we can be, and that we need to overcome our own flaws. So the more I look into things, the more I break it down, the more it is something of value to me. So I actually enjoy doing these deep breakdowns and questioning everything because it makes it more realistic for me. That said, I know that I am almost psychopathic, and a lot of people don't look at things the way I do. So I can understand why my stuff would hurt what they are, because it shows the man behind the curtain. Think you enjoyed the Dominion War Chronicle. Well, I'm glad you like that, Tree Troll. If you like Star Wars, then you're going to enjoy the Clone Wars, because I'm doing the exact same thing with them. So yeah, for me, I really enjoy digging down into it. Now, that said, I think innocence is lost. And the same way with like filmmaking. So in filmmaking, I now see all the flaws. I now see all the manipulations. I now see the language of the camera. And I can't unsee that. And so an innocence in how film is made, an innocence in what Starfleet and Star Trek was, it's gone. It's lost. And so there is a trade-off for having a deeper understanding of it. Mark Twain did a story, and I think it was called Life on the Mississippi. I think that's the one, where he always wanted to be like a steamboat pilot or whatever, and he really wanted it to because it seemed majestic to him. And then when he finally became a steamboat pilot, the magic was removed from it. And he talked about how, like, if you're a doctor, it must be horrible because when you see blush, you're going to see like a sickness or whatever. And that is the most accurate way of describing like what I do and how I look at things. And so I know a lot of people are asking this. I have a Discord. I don't do a lot with it. It's kind of somewhat dead because I haven't put a lot of effort into it, even though it has a ton of people. I really need to. If you're a patron, you get a special thing in it. Here, I'll just share it though. Please answer before you go. Do you think Janeway obeyed the Prime Directive? They would have made a beeline to Earth and ignored everything else. I think that she could have explored without breaking the Prime Directive. She did not follow the Prime Directive a lot, but I think exploring doesn't break the Prime Directive. Wanting a thing can often be more satisfying than having said thing. Yeah. Chase one, I wish the Discord chat. Yeah, I'm horrible when it comes to Discord. I need to get it active. Or I need to get mods that'll make it active and pay people. Quark needed more Grilka. I think it worked. I agree. She should have stayed out of the species 8472 versus Borg affair. There's all the evidence except for one line. All the evidence that 8472 were the good guys. I think you could argue that 8472 was the good guys in that. But yeah, so like for people who want to go into film or want to do Star Trek channels or do it the way I do it, just be prepared to lose innocence is all I'd say to that. Anything else before we go, good friends? It's not a utopia, it's just paramilitary. I think it's a utopia. Laura introduced me to Explodium, the finest starship building. It is. Everything's made out of utopia. Yeah, out of Explodium. She made a lot of bad decisions. So I'll talk about this and then I'll leave. 8472, I've talked about it quite a few times. There's all the evidence that 8472 was actually either neutral or the good guys when you look at what they did. They actually didn't try to destroy or kill anyone on Voyager until Voyager made a bioweapon that would destroy them. In fact, when you look at the weapons that 8472 used, anytime they used them on a Borg ship, they completely destroyed that ship. However, when they fired on Voyager, they never did a damage. They were trying to scare them away. From species 8472's point of view, Voyager was always with the Borg or helping them out. And even then, they always tried to scare them off. Now, people are going to say, oh, but Cass tried to talk to one and he said he was going to destroy the universe. Cass said he was going to destroy the universe. Lore Reloaded, Cass said he was going to destroy... Do you even watch this? Cass said he was going to destroy the universe. Listen, first off, we don't know who Cass was talking to. She could have been talking to... Was she talking to the diplomat, the leader of 8472? Was she talking to a soldier who was just pissed off that her friends was killing his friends? Was she talking to 8472's version of the clan? We don't know who she was talking to. Every other captain, Picard, Kirk, Cisco, Archer, hell, even Mirror Universe Lorca, always tried to multiple times tried diplomacy. They tried it once, contacted rando 8472 guy who said, I'm going to destroy the universe, and assumed that that's the way it's going to be. There was absolutely no reason to get on that war, let alone side with the Borg. Let alone. What was that voice? That voice was the counter people who always tell me, but Kes, talk to one of them. Kes, talk to one of them. Federation has too much plot armor for the Terran Empire to win. And here's the thing. I'm not saying I am drinking tangerine mango water. I am not saying that 8472 were good guys. We just don't know. And all the evidence points to them being the good guys. They could have very well been the bad guys, but there is no reason to believe that they are. How was Quark able to satisfy a Klingon woman in bed? I don't, with his earlobes. That's how he did it. Will the Mirror Universe Borg be like hippies? I always thought the Mirror Universe Borg would basically be like the Collective. I know there are books about it, but I honestly, and the way I looked at it is like they were like the Collective. To be fair, as I remember it, 8472 also has a swarm. How do we know that they have a swarm mind? Did the Borg tell him? Did Kes tell him? There's no evidence. And she wasn't talking to the swarm. She talked to one of them. Where would... I do not remember that in the slightest. Do I think Picard Season 2 will honor the legacy of Beta Canon of Star Trek Online? I think they're getting close to it. Mirror Universe version of everything. That is so vague, Flame. I mean, what? Just of everything? Just what? You broke me. You broke my brain. The Borg King is in the Mirror books. Yeah, I read something about that. I think they still assimilate and stuff, but I always just saw them as thanks for supporting the channel. It's the only way I keep this stuff alive. I always would, if I wrote the Mirror Universe Borg, I would write them as the Collective. Laura, do you have a novel, graphics novel, comic, or some other medium that would be great in a serial TV? Do I have a what? What is that one? Wolf Among Us, I think, would be a great TV format. I'd love to see The Wolf Among Us. Would you like to see older Trek species to make more of an appearance, like bridge crew members, Andorians? They've been doing that on Discovery. I think it's interesting. I wouldn't mind seeing it. You know, I heard, and this is probably true, but I don't know. I heard TNG didn't have the original species, like Vulcans, Andorians, and stuff, because they weren't allowed to, because that had to be an original series thing. Which is unfortunate, if that's true. That's what I heard. I believe that's true, but I've never really looked it up. All right, a few more questions, maybe, and then I think I'm gonna be outie. Outie 5000. The mirror version of the Borg, the Dominion, the Q, the Kazon, and the like, what it would be. Oh, okay. I mean, I can look at that, yeah. I'll put it in the hopper. What would a mirror Jem'Hadar be more diplomatic than a mirror Vortex? Nah, if I had to... So here's the thing about the mirror universe. The mirror universe, based on what we see in the original series in Deep Space Nine, which was horrible. I hate DS9's mirror universe. I hate them with a passion. And in Enterprise's mirror universe, is that the people aren't opposite. The people just respond differently to the universe they're in. So you have some characters that are still who they are. They're just in a worse situation. For some of them, that turns them straight evil. For others, they're themselves just in a bad universe. So the Jem'Hadar could still be warriors, but they'd more be like honorable, like Klingon. What Klingons say they think honor is what they'd be. Didn't seem like there was a hive mind at work at the... yeah, that's what I was thinking too. I'm not saying they don't have a hive mind. I just don't remember that. I'd have to see where we got that from. Spock and O'Brien are still basically the same. Well, not only that, you had... I think Cisco was similar. Quark was similar, I think. And what's her name? T'Pol. T'Pol was similar. Guys, thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to rate. You guys have really lifted my spirits. Twitter, I wasn't mad about. It was just unfortunate. Some people I don't know. There's a guy called Vosh. I'm not a huge fan of him, but he says something, and this is kind of egotistical, but he likes giving people the ability to disappoint him. I was disappointed in some people, and it's frustrating because you can't really... Twitter is just garbage, and I hate that I still interact on it because honestly, I can do better, and I have better interactions like when I can talk to people, not in 160 characters. So, lifted my spirits. Thanks so much. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe. Guys, I'm going to see you on the next Lore Reloaded. But before I get... Is the month going better since CBS effed the community? Yeah, it's doing a lot better. People stepped up and helped out, and I got my stuff back. So...